Hey everybody, what's going on? Will Brooks here from Fifth Wall Solutions, back with some more cyber news for you today. For those of you who don't know, back on August 14th, Clorox actually suffered a data breach. So they disclosed it on August 14th. There's a lot been going on around that incident. There's been some supply chain disruptions. Recently, anyway, they've said that they had to shut down factories, they had to halt production on certain products. There were a lot of issues there. And as always, with incidents like this, I, as the cyber insurance nerd, am going to approach this situation from that lens of insurance, because this is really helpful when you can take a story in the news, something like this Clorox incident, like we've been talking about with MGM, like we talked about with the University of Wisconsin. So when you can take an incident like this Clorox one that involves a big company, one that everyone is familiar with, but at the same time, if you can take a story or a call to action from this particular incident and boil it down to something that even can apply to an SMB, a small or medium-sized business, it can be very effective in your conversations with those business owners around cybersecurity. So real quick, when we look at this from the cyber insurance angle, there are two things I want to address. So Clorox, as I mentioned, said that there were some supply chain disruptions. They weren't able to get product out. They weren't able to manufacture the products they needed to. They had to shut down some of their distribution centers. And they were going back to, as we say with a lot of these incidents, paper and pen. A lot of things were being done manually, not digitally. And it's just had an effect on the speed of business. So there is a particular coverage found on good comprehensive cyber insurance policies called business interruption coverage. Now, this is a vital coverage to any business that is undergoing an incident. A lot of times as an MSP, you're probably getting pressure from your client saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. MSP, get me back up online now. My business is down. I have this thing on my screen that says I can't do anything. And you're being pressured to get the business back up and running. So get those systems reset. Try turning it on and off again, right? That whole process. The problem is there's a lot that goes in to recovery from an incident that people aren't talking about. So statistically, we hear that the average downtime for ransomware today is somewhere between 14 and 16 days. And the question is, does your business have the ability to continue operating even in the midst of that downtime, right? And so this business interruption coverage will help mitigate the disaster from that, the loss of income that you would see. So in this case of Clorox, the business interruption would help cover the loss of the product they're able to push. They're losing income because this particular incident is preventing them from getting the product out. So that's a really important coverage. The other one I want to talk about, because usually with these really big companies, you hear about the data incident and then it gets swept under the rug. But the coverage I want to point out today is called reputational damage. When I talk to MSPs, a lot of them are unfamiliar with the realities that a good comprehensive cyber policy will have a line item for reputational harm. So the insurance company is effectively going to hire PR people. They're going to hire experts to help your public image. So for a company like Clorox, I mean, they're huge. People aren't going to stop using bleach just because there was a data breach at the Clorox organization as a whole, right? They're still going to continue to buy Clorox products. They're a big enough company. They're a well-known name. MGM may take a little bit of a hit, but people are still going to go and gamble in Vegas at their casinos. They're still going to get those hotel rooms. They're still going to stay there. It's all going to happen. But for a small business, if they undergo a data incident, if a breach happens, now we have an issue. Because if you have, I don't know, 100 clients, 200 clients, whatever the number might be, if you have those clients and they're all affected by this incident and they're now being told that their credentials have leaked, potentially their parts of their identity, sensitive information is now out there on the dark web, they're going to be angry. And that's going to not only affect your current customer base, but when you operate a business, especially one that's built on a lot of referrals, you're going to lose a lot of those referrals. So the ability for a company to professionally come in and help do damage control for your reputation as a business is huge. So a good cyber liability policy, a comprehensive policy, as we like to say, will cover business interruption, keeping your business afloat during that downtime, as well as reputational harm. So this Clorox incident teaches us two of those main things and how important they are. in the event of an incident. So use that information. Take the big and convert it to the small. Be able to take large incidents like the one at Clorox and find applications that you can provide to your SMB clients, because it's going to help them understand the solutions you're able to put in place, understand the importance of insurance, and it's going to help mature their cybersecurity understanding, because that is the goal. Good cyber hygiene. Well, everybody, thanks again for listening. Always a pleasure to jump on these quick calls and talk a little bit about cyber. It's my fun thing to do. So we'll talk soon.